over the award to Positive Varta's founder and CEO Sri Malaypit, declaring the concept as unprecedented in the Asia Pacific region. A recognition not just for scale but for uniqueness. To mark this moment, our national awareness program titled Positive Varta, a movement of positivity and empowerment was also held, unifying educators, healthcare leaders, women entrepreneurs, and civil society members under the mission. In a world clouded by negativity, Positive Varta dares to tell a different story, one that uplifts, empowers, and inspires from the grassroots. Receiving the award, Malaypit said, "The best stories are still unfinished. This is not just an award, it's a reminder when purpose drives action, records follow." He thanked his team and left the audience with a powerful message. Carry one positive story home today. One story can change a life. Imagine what millions can do.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Shweta Thakur. I am pleased to introduce myself as an official representative from Asia Book of Records. I am here today to announce the results for the record called Largest Multi-Platform Social Empowerment Initiative by an Individual. Asia Book of Records is a platform where the record holders of all major national book of records, including India Book of Records, Vietnam Book of Records, Indo-China Book of Records, Laos Book of Records, and Nepal Book of Records, meet to compare, compete, and claim the title of Asia Book of Records holder. Today, Asia Book of Records holds a strong database of 40,000 entries. Now it's time to announce the record for Asia Book of Records, largest multi-platform social empowerment initiative by an individual. The record for the largest multi-platform social empowerment initiative by an individual was set by Malaypit from Purva Vardhaman, West Bengal, India, for launching Positive Varta, a multi-channel initiative promoting positivity, education, healthcare, and empowerment across mobile apps, social media, TV, and community programs. His work impacts diverse sectors including women entrepreneurship, tribal upliftment, and youth development, fostering inclusive growth and social transformations as confirmed on June 14, 2025. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to Malaypit for taking Book of Records through his visionary project Positive Varta. He has created a far-reaching impact across education, healthcare, women entrepreneurship, tribal upliftment, and youth development by harnessing the power of mobile apps, social media, television, and grassroots programs. Malaypit has become a true catalyst for inclusive growth and social transformation. His dedication to building a more empowered and positive society is truly commendable. Congratulations once again.
सर इधर देखना है सबको, इस कैमरे की तरफ, पीछे वाले की तरफ इनको इधर दिखाओ। हाँ सर इधर देखिए, इधर यही वाला कैमरा है बस। हाँ बाकी सब सिर्फ ये नीचे वाला मोबाइल, बाकी सब सर सर इधर देखना। सर इधर देख।
पॉजिटिव वार्ता ने एक इतिहास बन दिया है। पॉजिटिव वार्ता का एशिया बुक ऑफ रिकॉर्ड का नाम है। एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट मूवमेंट है, इसके लिए बहुत हाथ ताली। क्योंकि कैसा प्लेटफॉर्म हम सोशल डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, जिससे आप सब जुड़े हुए हैं और आगे जाके पॉजिटिव वार्ता और भी बड़ा होगा, ये हम लोग
और सबके लिए ये मेरा टीम है, ये सारा इंडिया से यहाँ पर आया। आप क्या सोचेंगे, लेकिन इम्प्लीमेंट सब देखिएगा, थिंक पॉजिटिव, बी पॉजिटिव, पॉजिटिव। इंडस्ट्री के लिए, शिक्षा के लिए, शास्त्र के लिए और डेवलपमेंट के लिए पॉजिटिव होना चाहिए। पहले पॉजिटिव, बाद में सब कुछ डेवलप होगा। इसलिए शिक्षा तो वो जरूरी है, लेकिन सबसे जरूरी पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग। इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ, और जो यूट्यूबर और जो सोशल मीडिया फ्रेंड, सोसाइटी के लिए जरूरी है पॉजिटिव स्प्रेड के लिए। ये सोसाइटी का ड्यूटी है, हर व्यक्ति का ड्यूटी है जो पॉजिटिव थी स्प्रेड के लिए। इंडस्ट्री आगे बढ़ेंगे, सब कुछ आगे बढ़ेंगे। पहले सोचेंगे वे पॉजिटिव होंगे, ऑल पॉजिटिव होंगे। धन्यवाद।
नमस्कार, আমি তমালিকা মণ্ডল, শান্তিনিকেতন মেডিকেল কলেজ এবং হসপিটালের একজন স্টাফ নার্স, রেডিওলজি ডিপার্টমেন্টের। আমাদের এখানে সিটি স্ক্যান, এমআরআই এবং এক্স-রে সুব্যবস্থা রয়েছে। এখানে খুব কম খরচে খুব গুণগত মানের চিকিৎসা ব্যবস্থা আপনারা পাবেন। আপনারা আসুন এবং আমাদের পরিষেবা গ্রহণ করুন। নমস্কার।
নমস্কার, আমি ডক্টর তপন কুমার ঘোষ, শান্তিনিকেতন মেডিকেল কলেজ ব্লাড সেন্টারের ডিরেক্টর। আমি অত্যন্ত গর্বিত এরকম একটা উচ্চ মানের ব্লাড সেন্টারের দায়িত্ব আমাকে দেওয়ার জন্য। এই বোলপুরকে সেন্টার করে যদি 60 কিলোমিটার একটা ব্যাসার্ধ টানা হয়, তাহলে মানে রাউন্ড টানা হয়, তাহলে দেখা যাবে কোথাও কম্পোনেন্ট সেপারেশন হয় না। একমাত্র আমরা যা অত্যন্ত আধুনিক যন্ত্রপাতি দিয়ে কম্পোনেন্ট সেপারেশন করে থাকি। এই কম্পোনেন্ট সেপারেশন করার ফলে রোগীর যেটুকু প্রয়োজন সেটুকুই তারা পায়। যার আরবিসির দরকার তাকে আরবিসি দেওয়া হয়, যার এফএফপির দরকার তাকে এফএফপি দেওয়া হয়, যার প্লেটলেটের দরকার তাকে প্লেটলেট দেওয়া হয়। যদিও আমাদের কলেজটি প্রাইভেট কলেজ, কিন্তু আমরা সমস্ত ব্লাড সরকারি নিয়ম অনুসারে, সরকারি রেট অনুসারে দিই, এবং যেনারা আমাদের কাছে ব্লাড ডোনেশন ক্যাম্প করে আমাদের কার্ডের মাধ্যমে তারা সম্পূর্ণ বিনা পয়সায় ব্লাড পেয়ে থাকেন। আমরা বহু স্বেচ্ছাসেবী সংস্থা এবং আমাদের যে সমস্ত ইনস্টিটিউট আছে তারা ব্লাড ডোনেশন করতে এগিয়ে আসেন। আমাদের রিয়েজেন্ট এবং পদ্ধতিগত টেস্টের জন্য আমরা বিভিন্ন উচ্চতর সেন্টারের সঙ্গে কোয়ালিটি কন্ট্রোল করে দেখেছি, যাতে আমাদের পারফরমেন্স 98% কাছাকাছি। আমরা আশা করি ভবিষ্যতে আরো বেশি অনেক পরিষেবা মানুষকে দিতে পারবো। আপনারা জানেন যে রক্তের কোনো বিকল্প নেই, যে তার বদলে কিছু রক্ত কোনো ফ্যাক্টরিতে তৈরি হয় না। মানুষের ডোনেশনের রক্তই মানুষ পাওয়া যায়। আজকে আপনারা দেখছেন যে আমাদের এখানে সমস্ত রকম যন্ত্রপাতি, উচ্চমানের যন্ত্রপাতি যেগুলো আছে সেগুলোতেই আমরা করি। আমরা যেমন অটোমেটিক পদ্ধতিতে সব করি, পাশাপাশি চেক করার জন্য ম্যানুয়াল পদ্ধতিও করে থাকি। আমাদের রক্ত কোনো সময় দুবারের কম টেস্ট করে ছাড়া হয় না। আজ পর্যন্ত আমাদের হেমোভিজিলেন্সের রেকর্ডে আজ পর্যন্ত আমাদের কোনো ব্লাড চালিয়ে ট্রান্সফিউশন রিঅ্যাকশন হয় না। আমরা শুধুমাত্র যে আমাদের হসপিটালকেই ব্লাড দিই তা নয়, বোলপুরের অনেক স্বাস্থ্য প্রতিষ্ঠান আছে যাদেরকে আমরা ব্লাড দিতে পারি। আমরা আশা রাখি এই নতুন বছরে আরো অনেক নতুন পদ্ধতি চালু করব এবং থ্যালাসেমিয়া রোগীদের জন্য আরো অনেক সেবা দিতে পারবো। তাই আসুন আমরা সবাই একসাথে একটাই প্রতিজ্ঞা করি, কোনো মানুষ যেন রক্ত জন্য মারা না যায়, কোনো মানুষ যেন রক্ত দান না করে মারা যায়। আপনাদের সবাইকে নববর্ষের শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়ে শেষ করি। নমস্কার।
Discover medicine in your language. Join the journey of knowledge with Chikitsa Pathshala, a special initiative focused on medical education in multiple languages, tailored for every aspiring minds. Tune in daily from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and again from 10 pm to 6 am only on Positive Varta. Experience in-depth learning, expert insights and simplified explanations all in the language you are most comfortable with. Positive Varta, where learning meets opportunity. Stay tuned, stay informed, step into the future of medicine with us. আপনারা দেখছেন পজিটিভ বার্তা প্ল্যাটফর্ম। Think positive, be positive.
Mediastinum, the meaning is a septum or partition, a tubular structure or structures rather, which are present in between two mediastinal surfaces of the lung, in between two mediastinal surfaces of the lungs, covered with mediastinal pleura. Actually, within the thorax, the major viscera are two lung, and in between there is heart. And the lung is covered with a membrane that we know that is called pleura. Pleura in contact with the ribs or thoracic wall, it is called, and definitely this is parietal pleura, definitely. The pleural cavity has got two, and pleura has got two layers. A pleural cavity actually is a balloon-like, and definitely which is in contact with the lung, that is called the visceral layer, and which is reflected from here, from the surface and covers the interior of the thoracic wall, that is the parietal pleura. Very good. But the parietal pleura has got, which is in contact with the ribs, it is called costal pleura. Which is in, we know there is a partition which is called the diaphragm. So that part of the parietal pleura which is in contact with the diaphragm is called diaphragmatic pleura. And the part of the parietal pleura which is facing medially is called mediastinal pleura. So in between two lung, or the lung covered with the mediastinal surface, mediastinal mediastinal pleura covering. So in between that place is called the mediastinum. Okay. Now we can find this is the thoracic inlet and this is the thoracic outlet. So that is upper limit and this is the lower limit. In the lower limit we get the diaphragm. In the upper limit, that is, which is called the thoracic inlet, it is bounded in front by this jugular notch of the manubrium. Manubrium is a part of the sternum. So this is the jugular notch of the manubrium of sternum. Behind we will get the first thoracic vertebra, upper border of the first thoracic vertebra. So a plane passing through these two is the inlet, and here we are getting the outlet. Sternum is in front, and behind we are getting the T12 thoracic vertebra, and below that we are getting the lumbar vertebra, and that is been covered with the diaphragm. The diaphragm. So this area of the mediastinum, okay, in between two lungs, we are getting the mediastinum. The whole thing is confined above with the thoracic inlet and below by the diaphragm. And again, if we imagine a plane which is passing through the sternal angle, what is sternal angle? Junction between the manubrium and the body of the sternum. If we can imagine a plane is passing through it, then it will go through the lower border of the T4, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertebra. We can divide that area by an imaginary plane passing through the junction between the manubrium and the body, and behind by the lower border of the T4 vertebra. Then we can subdivide this mediastinum into two parts. One is above, one is below. The part above is called the superior mediastinum, and part below is called inferior mediastinum. And we can imagine there is heart. So we can get an area between the heart covered with pericardium. Heart is enclosed within a sac. That is called pericardium. So you can imagine heart covered with pericardium, pericardial sac. And also we can imagine this the area between the sternum and the anterior part of the pericardium, anterior surface of the pericardium. And we can also imagine an area, the posterior surface of the pericardium, posterior part of the pericardium and the vertebra. So the area between the posterior surface of the sternum and the anterior part of the pericardial sac, that area is called anterior mediastinum. The part between the pericardial sac and the posterior thoracic and posteriorly by the lower 8 thoracic vertebra, that area is called posterior mediastinum. And the area within the pericardial sac, that means the heart itself, forms the middle mediastinum. So mediastinum is an area in between two mediastinal pleura, the area in between two mediastinal pleura, which is divided into superior and inferior mediastinum. And again, inferior is divided into anterior, middle and posterior. Now we will see the slides. We can have some idea about the contents, and we can have the clear-cut idea about the mediastinum, the parts of mediastinum. So here we can see this is the thoracic inlet, and here is the 12th vertebra, and this is the diaphragm. So this is the thoracic outlet. So in between this area in front we are getting the manubrium and body of the sternum and the xiphoid process, and behind T1 to T12 vertebra. So this area is called the mediastinum. On either side we will get the lung covered with mediastinal pleura. Okay. So an imaginary line we can, this is the dotted line we can see. Interrupted dashed line. This forms a plane passing through the sternal angle between the manubrium and the sternum and body of the sternum, and behind by the T4 vertebra. So this is, the area is the superior mediastinum. This is inferior mediastinum. Again inferior mediastinum between the sternum and the pericardial sac, in which we will get the heart, is the anterior mediastinum. Within the pericardial sac, middle mediastinum. Behind we are getting the posterior mediastinum. The same. Now, in this figure, we can see so many structures in between two lungs. So this forms a tubular structures which contain several great vessels. We can see vein, artery, nerves, and also we can find this is the wind tube, that is the trachea, and behind which we get the esophagus, and in between there is one nerve, and also we can find this is the heart, from which the great vessels either originating from the heart or coming towards the heart. So all these structures forms the contents of the mediastinum. Those are present above. Okay. They are within the superior mediastinum, and the structures which are present below are the part of the inferior mediastinum. So we can imagine a plane here, okay, because the starting point of, this is the arch of aorta, the starting point of arch of aorta and ending of arch of aorta, this level is the level of the sternal angle, and this is the division. So in the superior mediastinum, we can find so many structures. From anterior to posterior, we can find, anteriorly we will find the veins. Then in a posterior plane we will get the arteries. And in the most posterior plane we will get the tubular structures, that is trachea and the esophagus. And most posteriorly we will get the vertebra, thoracic vertebra, and thoracic vertebra has got intervertebral disc, and also there we find, we see the anterior longitudinal ligaments. So most posteriorly we will get the vertebrae. Now we can see one vein coming from the head neck region. Okay, this is the right internal jugular vein, and this is another vein which is coming from the right upper limb. This is the right subclavian vein. So they join to form a big vein. That is right brachiocephalic. Similarly, we will get the left brachiocephalic. And this right brachiocephalic and the left brachiocephalic, they join at the level of first costal cartilage. Where the first costal cartilage joins with the sternum. Okay. Here we will get the formation of this biggest vein, that is the superior vena cava. It is from just behind the first sternocostal junction and it ends in the third sternocostal junction. So we will get the superior vena cava. So in the superior mediastinum, the most anteriorly we can find this superior vena cava and brachiocephalic veins, right and left. Then we can find this arch of aorta just behind these veins. And this arch of aorta divides into three branches. You can see one is 1, 2 and 3. Can you see the three branches? I'll show you in the cadaver also. Okay. But before that you have to know. So this branch is going towards the right side and it divides into other two great vessels. So this is called the common trunk, which is called the brachiocephalic trunk. You can see it here. Brachiocephalic trunk, which divides into this artery which is going towards the head, neck and brain region. Okay, which is called right common carotid. And this one is going towards the upper limb. So, right subclavian. What is the meaning of the carotid? Carotid means sleep. If you press on both the carotids at one point of time, the blood circulation to the brain will stop. Gradually it will stop. So what you will feel? Just after having the lunch, you are feeling very sleepy because due to redistribution of the blood is going towards the gut, towards the alimentary system. So there is auto-regulation of the blood and brain is getting very poor blood supply. So you will feel sleepy. So meaning of the carotid is sleep. Very nice term for you just now. Okay. Many of you, I might be finding that somebody remains like this. Somebody tries to open their eyes. যেরকম ঘোড়ারা দাঁড়িয়ে দাঁড়িয়ে ঘুমায়। So this is the brachiocephalic trunk. And on the left side, we are getting the two branches. One direct, it will go directly towards the head, neck and brain region. That is the left common carotid. And this one will go to the left upper limb. That is the left subclavian. Now, we can find this is lung and this is the pericardium, and within which we are getting the heart. This is the pericardium. Okay. And in between the mediastinal pleura, we can see this is the pleura, pleural reflection. This is costal pleura. This is the mediastinal pleura. Similarly, this is the mediastinal pleura. In between the pericardium and the mediastinal pleura, we can find one nerve is traveling. That is right phrenic nerve. Similarly, on the left side we will get the left phrenic nerve. And কোথায় গেল? চলে গেল। So, this nerve is a bit in anterior plane. And there are some structures which connects the lung with the heart. There are some tubular structures we will see in our cadaver which connects this lung and the heart. Okay. So they are the tubular structures. And those tubular structures are called the root of the lung. And this nerve passes in front of the root. And we can find another nerve which is a bit in a posterior plane, which passes behind the root of the lung. And this nerve is nothing but we can find this nerve is coming from the vagus nerve. You can see this is left vagus, and similarly we are getting the right vagus, from where we can get other branches. So this nerve is placed posteriorly, whereas this phrenic nerve is placed anteriorly. Okay. And other two structures, these are the trachea and esophagus. The same thing. So all these structures actually represents the blood vessels and tubular structures, nerves. They are the parts of the superior mediastinum. Here we can find this is arch of aorta, and this is the pulmonary trunk. Okay, this pulmonary trunk arises from the right heart, and this is the arch of aorta. And in between there is a connection between the pulmonary trunk and the arch of aorta, tubular opening. Actually, in embryonic period, this remains patent, but after birth, this becomes a ligament, which is called ligamentum arteriosum. আমি তাড়াতাড়ি শেষ করে দেব, চিন্তা নেই। Now this figure shows there are some layers in the neck. We can get the deep fascia. In our upper extremity we have seen the deep fascia which covers the muscles. In the neck we can get deep fascia. There are 3 drums, cylinders. One tubular covering most outside, That is called investing layer. Then another layer surrounding the trachea, which is called the pretracheal layer, another drum. And another inside drum which you can imagine just in front of the vertebra, that is pretracheal layer. So investing layer, pretracheal layer and prevertebral layer. So they are all deep fascia in the neck, and in the neck you can find this is the prevertebral layer of deep fascia, and you can find this is the green one is pretracheal layer of the deep fascia, and most in front is the investing layer. Okay, this is the outside drum is the investing layer. Green one is the pretracheal layer in front of the trachea, and this layer is in front of the vertebra. So this is called prevertebral layer. This prevertebral layer is not confined to the neck. It goes down and it is attached to the fourth thoracic vertebra. Similarly, pretracheal layer comes down and it is attached. It goes below the thyroid. It covers the thyroid gland and it goes up to the arch of aorta. So this is the area. There is a connection in between the pretracheal layer and prevertebral layer. This is the area which is connected from the neck to the thorax or the mediastinum. So any infection in the neck, it can trickle down. Any pus or anything can trickle down from neck to the mediastinum. Similarly, any infection from the vertebra, in the cervical vertebra or anything, it may, any abscess, it may trickle down. It can go up to the level of T4 vertebral. So it can enter into the mediastinum. Similarly, here also any infection from the thyroid or anything or in front in the neck region, it can go and it can enter into the mediastinal structures, and ultimately it will cause mediastinitis. There is a connection between the mediastinum and the neck. So any infection in the neck, it may go down and it can enter into the mediastinum. Okay. Now about the anterior mediastinum, the area between the sternum and the pericardium. Here we will see there are two ligaments. Yesterday I have shown you this ligament. There one is superior and one is inferior sternopericardial ligament. And in between we will get the branches, and just here we are getting one artery, that is the internal thoracic artery. From here we will get several branches towards the pericardium, towards the sternum. They are, so here we will get. And also we can get some lymph nodes, we can get some loose areolar tissue within this area. So this is the anterior mediastinum. And in the middle mediastinum, what we are getting within the middle mediastinum? The sac we are getting, and inside we are getting the heart. And from the heart we will see there are emergence of several vessels like ascending aorta, pulmonary trunk, etc., etc. And also some veins which will terminate into the heart, the superior vena cava, terminal part of the azygous vein, so and so. and within the posterior mediastinum, posterior means behind the heart and the vertebra. Okay. So there we are getting this picture. So here we will get the descending thoracic aorta. We can see this tubular passage for food, that is the esophagus, and also one vein, azygous vein, which drains into the superior vena cava, and also we will get the thoracic ducts. So all these structures are present in the posterior mediastinum. So here, due to any cardiomegaly, we can see there is, this is the diameter of the heart and this is the diameter of the thorax. When it is more than, the diameter of the heart is more than the thorax, is more than 0.5. That means when it is more, we can say that there is some widening of the, we can say this widening of the mediastinal. This is the whole mediastinal shadow in X-ray we can find. So generally the value is the total value. This is the diameter of the heart. Okay, the maximum diameter of the heart, that means A plus B, and this is the diameter of the thorax. When it becomes more than 0.5, we can say there is cardiomegaly or any other thing. Okay. So in X-ray we can have some idea about the shadow of the mediastinum. Similarly, if the shadow is shifted to one side, suppose this is shifted to left side, or the whole shadow is shifted to the right side, then we can detect there is collapse within the lung. There is some, suppose there is a tubercular infection, there is fibrosis and collapse. So the whole thing may shift either on this side or to this side. So which is called the mediastinal shift. Another thing, endoscopy. Endoscopy, what is endoscopy? Endoscopy is, actually this is an investigation that a tubular structure is introduced inside the esophagus. Suppose there is any dysphagia, that means the patient cannot swallow properly, painful swallowing. So there might be any growth within the esophagus, or the growth might be around the mediastinal structures, any tumor, like there is a Hodgkin's disease, which is that lymph nodes are enlarged within the mediastinal area. Okay. So it can press different structures. It can press the trachea. It can press the esophagus. So there might be chance of dysphagia. Or if dyspnea, that means cannot breathe properly, because if the tubular, the trachea is involved, there is a pressure from a new growth over the trachea, then there will be, if I press your trachea, what will happen? You cannot respire. The respiration, you cannot respire properly. So there might be dyspnea. So dysphagia, in case of dysphagia and dyspnea, we have to search for the exact cause. So we have to introduce the endoscope, and we have to see, and even during this procedure we can take a biopsy from this area, from esophagus or from any other surrounding structures. Okay. So that is important investigation for the, and if there is any tumor or growth within the mediastinum, what will happen? It will press simply the trachea or the esophagus, or it can press the veins, it can press the arteries, and in between trachea and esophagus there is one nerve I will show you today. That is the recurrent laryngeal nerve which supplies the larynx, that is the voice box. If that nerve is involved, there is a pressure, there will be aphonia, dysphonia, difficulty in speaking. Okay. And if there is, that is hoarseness, you can see this is the compression of the recurrent laryngeal, hoarseness of the voice, dysphonia or aphonia. Or we have seen the phrenic nerve is coming down. So if the tumor involves the phrenic nerve, what will happen? The phrenic nerve supplies the diaphragm. Diaphragm is essential for our respiration. So difficulty in respiration, okay, or respiratory paralysis, the patient may die, okay. So that is the compression of the phrenic nerve. Compression of the intercostal nerves. We have seen the intercostal nerve yesterday. So if there is a pressure effect, neuralgia, neuralgic pain over the ribs. So what are the causes? Like bronchogenic carcinoma, within the lung there is any growth, malignant growth, which may press all these structures. And if the superior vena cava is affected, what will happen? The venous return will get affected, and there will be swelling and puffiness of the face. Okay. And over the extremities. Next is the mediastinal lymphadenopathy, like Hodgkin's disease. Okay.
আরও ইতিবাচক বার্তা নিয়ে ফিরে আসছি একটু বিরতির পর। চোখ রাখুন টিভির পর্দায়।
আপনারা দেখছেন পজিটিভ বার্তা প্ল্যাটফর্ম। Think positive, be positive.
When knowledge speaks directly to the listener, a unique journey into the world of health and healing, simplified just for you, where your well-being is our mission.
Because behind every good doctor is a great classroom, Chikitsa Pathshala. Learning medicine anytime, anywhere. So, the future of medical learning is here. In the journey of healing, every heartbeat of knowledge counts. Welcome to Chikitsa Pathshala, where future doctors take their first steps.
So tune into Chikitsa Pathshala. So don't miss it. Positive Varta. Think positive, be positive, positive Varta.
আপনারা দেখছেন পজিটিভ বার্তা প্ল্যাটফর্ম। Think positive, be positive.
New Delhi, June 14. In a proud moment